Good morning, everyone. Lee Henson here, president and founder of AgileDad, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Stand-Up. Without any further ado, let's get started. This week, if you're just tuning in today, we're focusing on self-improvement. This is a topic that I feel like everyone is struggling with right about now. It's a time for us to look internally and try to polish who we are so that we can uplift those around us. And today I wanted to talk about one of the fundamental principles that go along with self-improvement. And it's a topic regarding failure. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this because this is a keynote presentation that I often give, and this can spin off in so many different directions. But today I want to focus on one of the things you can do once you recognize that failure is an option and that failure does happen. The question then becomes, what do you do as a result of failure? And I think that so many people lose hope or give up and they throw the towel in and they say, I'm destined to be the way that I am, or that the world around me, whether it's the environment or the community or where I am or where I grew up or what my family believes or whatever it might be, has caused me to become a certain way, that there's too many external environmental factors that are driving you to be a certain way. And I think that in some cases they may stimulate the effects of where you're trying to go, but I don't know that that necessarily makes you that way. I feel like even people who come from some of the worst environments can be some of the best people. So that begs the question, where do I start? Where do I lay the first stone? And I think that the most important thing, whether you're building a house, whether you're building a wall, whether you're tearing down a wall, you have to start with the foundation. So you have to start by building upon a solid foundation, tearing down those bad things that are around you, and focus on one step at a time, building the perfect foundation. And I guess that begs the question, I often envision a person building a castle or a large palace, and I ask myself, what's the most important decision that person can make? And the answer is, what rock to start with, right? That starting stone, the cornerstone, the piece that you're going to build everything else on, the piece that's going to establish that foundation, that by far is the most important part. So that begs the question, what is your rock? What is your foundation? What drives you and motivates you? What keeps you going from day to day? What is it that makes you excited? In my advanced Scrum Master class, I asked the question, what is it every day when that alarm clock goes off that makes you so excited to bounce out of bed and get to doing the things that you love? What is the thing you love the most about what you do, whether it's, in this case I was asking, job-related, but outside of job-related, what is the one thing that motivates you? What is the one thing that drives you? Is it your family? Is it something that you are excited to do that's going to be a building block in your life? Is it spirituality? Is it a faith that you profess or that you practice? Is it something external that's driving you to put that first rock in place? Where are you and what rock are you placing? Now, a lot of people try to shift this to mean only one thing. That, without a solid foundation or without something very, concrete to believe in, without having something that has a dogmatic list of steps, that you're not going to be successful. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. I think sometimes your rock could be just being of good cheer and being of good karma and being a good person and having that light inside of you, that internal light that's going to drive you and direct you and lead you to choose to do what's right. For many others, spirituality certainly doesn't hurt. It definitely helps. It doesn't matter which religion you're a part of or which church or sect you associate yourself with. It's a matter of digging in and aggressively feasting on those practices so that you can have a foundation that's unshakable. If you start with a foundation that's unshakable, it's going to allow you to build who you are and build that character and build the person that you are on top of that foundation. What we often find when we're working with individuals who are struggling to make decisions or struggling to help others or struggling to gain control or struggling to raise a family is that they often don't have this solid foundation. So the question becomes, what is the foundation for you? Where do you seek it? What do you do? And for each person, it's going to be a little bit different. I remember a dear friend of mine when I lived down in New Orleans who he always told me, he says, today is the beginning of a new journey. And every day when he woke up, he would say, today is the beginning of a new journey. And he'd look in the mirror with a giant smile. And when I asked him, what made you do that? He says, what happened yesterday really was yesterday, and it didn't matter. He says, every day can be a brand new journey. It's a brand new opportunity for you to reset and to firm up that foundation and keep building, keep pressing forward. One of the mistakes that people make the most is that they'll get to the point where they have a decent foundation, but then they don't shore it up, and they let it erode, and they let it fall away, and they fall back into the trap of feeling like they can't make a difference, or what they're doing is not of high value. And that's frustrating. That's a struggle. So I think the critical piece is, yesterday we discussed the introspective, discovering what you need to know in order to build this foundation. Step 2 is building the foundation and figuring out, hey, what are the things that are the most important to me? What are the things that drive me? Where is my rock? And what rock am I going to place first? Now, a big warning here that I see people fall into, a pit, a trap, if you will. It's a trap. The trap that I see people fall into is that they'll often lose themselves in trying to decide between all of the good things. There's so many good things you could be doing. There's so many things you could be doing that sometimes the good things themselves become overwhelming. So I think it's important when you discover your rock to divide your rocks into 3 piles. Your rocks that are going to be, technically 4 piles. So let's talk about the 4 piles. The first pile is going to be the rocks that you discard. The things that drive you down, the things that bring you down, the things that create anger or tension, the things that take away from who you personally are. That rock pile should be built first, and you should get rid of and filter out any rock that's going to make you, any rock that's not going to spark great joy should go into that pile. The second pile is going to be for rocks that are good. There are things that make you feel good. There are things that uplift you. There are things that move you. There are things that make you go, wow, that's really nice. There are things that restore your faith in humanity. The second pile of rocks are going to be the better pile. In a better pile of rocks, you're going to say, wow, these are things that change me. These are things that move me, that help me focus on the things that I should be focused on. These are the rocks that are going to do a real fine job helping me shore up this foundation and making it perfect. And then the third pile of rocks is what I like to call the best rocks. Those best rocks are the things that rock your world. They're the things that change everything. They're the things that make you wake up every morning and say, today is a new day. Now, once you recognize today is a new day, it doesn't mean just to live for today. You should live like no other so you can live like no other. It's important for you to understand that once you see that rock, that you need to put it in that pile and keep moving through your pile of rocks. But also, you need to remember not to lose yourself in sorting the pile. Once you see enough of those best rocks to get started, start moving. You can't have a foundation unless you start laying one. And I think it's just so important for you to keep a journal, keep a record, find the way that you can connect to that foundation. And let it be the rock that you stand upon before you deliver your message. And I hope this message has uplifted you and helped you in some way. Tune in or visit us on AgileDad.com where you can learn more about this topic and many others. But tune in. Continue to tune in this week. We have lots more episodes to go. And I think that once we get to Friday, this is going to be a really solid week for people who are just trying to get that extra boost they need to uplift themselves. So until next time, stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Do take care.